Today we have webinar on future of financial management and COVID-19 investors awareness webinar. We have Mr. Praveen Singh and we have with us Honorable Dr. C.K. Sharma sir, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture and Principal College of Agriculture as a chairman of the sectors. So I request first of all Dr. C.K. Sharma sir to welcome on behalf of Parle University of Agriculture to Dr. Mr. Dwivedi sir.
Thanks, Dr. Nitin. Today, the webinar topic is very much useful. Those who are having some kind of the inclination towards the stocks, and as per the topic which was given, is special emphasis on the agriculture because it incorporates the high level of GDP. We can say that, and quite substantial in the Indian GDP, I can say, and none of the country can survive without the agriculture spaces. So this is very much relevant. And as per about our esteemed university, esteemed Parle University, it is catering the need of the society through the education in the different domain under the dynamic leadership of Honorable President Dr. Devanshu Patel sir, Honorable Provost Professor M.N. Patel sir, Honorable Vaishnav sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, and the efficient team members. So, in the Faculty of Agriculture Sciences, we are offering the courses in the agriculture, BSc Agriculture, BTech Agriculture Engineering, BTech Dairy Technology, and recently we have started the course in Diploma in Animal Husbandry. So, if you see, we are providing the knowledge in the domain which is very much important. I think Dr. Mr. Praveen Dwivedi is a kind of person who is having the brilliant ideas regarding the stocks as well as how things can be invested in these stocks which are available in the market. His team is very much strong with Mr. Kartikeya Shukla as well as Mr. Rohit Tripathi. So I think on behalf of our esteemed Parle University, I welcome all for this webinar. Now, you can start your webinar. Over to Nitin.
Thank you. आप सभी को नमस्कार. Thank you, Dr. C.K. Sharma sir, Dean Parle University, Vadodara, and Dr. Nitin and all the participants who have joined today for this special session on future of financial management, especially in the wake of COVID-19, such kind of unprecedented exigencies or emergencies, or you can say calamities, happen once in a century. While financial management, whether it is, as you all know, any sector, it impacts every sector, every individual who needs bread and butter, or something to sustain his or her livelihood. So it is very important to understand few basic principles about financial management, which are generally very much important, but when such eventualities happen, I think it becomes very, very important that we reiterate these points. So I once again welcome you all on behalf of Evoke India and BSc, all the participants, all dignitaries from the Parle University who have today joined us for this session. And agriculture being the mainstay, I think it is always a matter of great privilege to connect to one of the world-renowned university in that sector, which today we are connecting. Agriculture, as Dr. Sharma was saying, the share of agriculture in GDP, it is actually increased. I just learned that from in the last 2 years, it has increased from 17.8% to about 19.9%. And so the contribution of agriculture sector to GDP is about 20%. It has actually has been moving in that kind of a region. Now, how are we able to make wealth generation happen or capital creation happen? How our farmers or anyone who is related to farming, whether it is agribusiness or any other agriculture sector stakeholder, how they follow certain basic money management principles. We will be talking about it in general. While the presentation today is not actually customized to only agriculture sector, it is a generic nature presentation, because what we do in these basic webinars is more to enlighten you or to give you certain pointers to implement in your daily life on whatever earning you have, whatever is your earning or inflow of cash, how you manage it. Now, when we talk about, particularly, I will especially talk about agriculture sector, how financial management can be done. So that I will certainly cover in the later part of the session today. So moving ahead, just to tell you briefly about our organization, Evoke India, was set up in 2012 after my 23 years of career across different banks, which is HSBC, Standard Chartered, and IDBI Bank. And how I felt the need for setting up an organization which is dedicated to matters in finance, whether it is financial literacy, investor education, or financial consulting. It's very important that what I saw is that most people generally do not pay attention to money management. They only look at how we earn more money. Once the money has come to their account, after that, it is not paid enough attention. Your money once comes to account, has it been properly deployed to generate you, right kind of income? That is very, very important. So given that what we want, our mission is that finance is at the core of every human being. हमारे शास्त्रों में भी लिखा हुआ है कि धर्म के बाद अर्थ ही आता है. तो धर्म और अर्थ, अगर हम second after any religion we follow, we get second is the religion of money, or religion of your economics, or religion of your artha. So we have to understand arth very well, and that's what is our small initiative, this which we are going to present today. We also do this annual conclave every year, which was first session was inaugurated by Honorable Governor of UP, Shri Ram Nayak ji, in 2018, and this India Financial Literacy Conclave happens every year, and we would urge you to, of course, join. And agriculture, actually, in every conclave, we had one panelist session, which is always for agriculture, which we have kept in all three sessions which have happened. In the last session, we had speakers, CEOs of Ruchi Soya, then one of the EVP from NCDEX, one of the ED from CGM NABARD. So, we always maintain that agriculture is at the core of any country's economic growth, and we cannot, ignore it. So that is important, and we would be sending you all our invitation to join that this year also, whenever the date gets decided. Generally, it happens during October and November. So, our purpose is that we reach out to all the segments of the society, whether it is farmers, women groups, underprivileged, colleges, students, government, non-government employees, teachers, professors, because there are various levels of programs. While there is one basic program which is meant for everybody, but there are various levels of programs which we do for corporates. There are multiple training programs also, which are related to individual, sectors. But there is a basic program which we cater to everyone. Now, why we need these kind of sessions? I'm not, while I would assume that most of you will be in the age bracket of, because you are mostly students also of university. So it is important that a lot of you do your investments, and how you protect your interests, that is the number one idea behind such sessions, that you do not fall prey to any such fraud or any cyber crime or anything. So that's number one. Number two is that whenever you are taking financial decision related to anything, whether which crops to sow or which investment to make, what will give me better returns, so that should be done with a lot of information in hand. Number two. Number three reason is that whatever product you are buying, suppose you have to plan your finances for next 20, 30 years, how will you plan your finances? And what product will suit your needs depending upon your particular requirements, needs, and time horizon, risk appetite. There are multiple factors. So yeah, these are the three reasons for which these programs are very important. Now, just to share two surveys which have happened. One is that survey on millennials. Millennials are people who are age group of 22 to 36 years, Gen X. Now, these Gen X people, Economic Times survey finds that they are the biggest spenders. ये लोग खर्चा बहुत करते हैं पैसे. Why? Because नया job लगा होता है. They have less responsibilities in that age group, but 22 to 36 years of age, newfound freedom away from parents, and you want to splurge. You want to spend the money on yourself and on everybody. So number one, they are spenders, biggest spend. Number two is that they also consider investment is necessary. Now, good thing is that 60% of these people understand investment is important. Now, if they understand investment is important, do they have right knowledge? That's the question. And if they don't have, they might make errors and they might lose that, wealth which they have just earned after a lot of efforts. So that is number one survey. Number two survey was done by Tata Capital. Again, this was on Gen Z. Gen Z or Gen Z is 18 to 25 years of age group. Now, this survey found about where do these people invest money. I don't know if I can ask you questions here, because generally in other platforms I can chat and I can ask questions. Where do you invest money? But this survey found that 34% invest in banks, 19% in mutual funds, 17% in insurance. Then about
I think Professor Sharma, kindly allow other participants to get in the webinar. They are in the waiting list. Someone who is handling the this entry thing.
Okay, so Dr. Nitin if you can help that, maybe sort it out. So I will continue and
Sir, please.
So this is something which the survey found that this is how pan-India, this is their classification. While in Gujarat, if you ask me, many people will be investing, as Dr. Sharma was sharing that in stocks, a lot of people invest. Gujarat, Maharashtra, so Western region, there's a lot of interest in stocks and shares. So if the understanding is there, I think it's very good. And but the point is that we should have a diversified portfolio. So this is what Tata Capital survey found. Now, moving ahead, what we recommend actually, is that we will send you a link for our, or you can go to our website and find out one document or a resource which is called My Finance Diary. Whenever we visit any university or an organization, we distribute these booklets which are called My Finance Diary. And that My Finance Diary or MFD is a document of about 39 pages, where we recommend that you should ask your, write down your financial goals and write down your all financial matters. While it is good to have online tools and have something which can help you online or a software, but if you have a physical book also, it is good.
If you are having the link of this diary, you can share here only.
Yes. So I will request my colleague Divya. Divya is there. Divya will share the link here, and then you can download that. So that is a bilingual diary, because we do mostly in Northern Belt also. So Hindi and English both are there in that. And it actually allows you to write down what I'm just going to tell you. It is very simple and basic thing. So if you want to use it, you can use it. So moving ahead, the question number one, which you can write down in your diary, and I would just assume, because I don't know, somehow I'm not very used to hear, and then somehow getting some answers from you may not be interactive. But what I want to ask you, and you can just write down in your diary or wherever you want to write, is that what is that age when you want to attain financial freedom? Financial freedom is the age when you have stopped working for money. You have got freedom for money. You will be working. It is not that you will not work. You will be working, but you will not only be working for money. You will be working for your own love, passion, hobby, whatever. It's traveling the whole world, writing a book, playing a guitar, or doing whatever you want to do, or doing only your own farming. But money is not the only consideration. Money may or may not come. So that is the age when you have, enough in your hand. That age can be 40 years of age, 55 years of age, 45 years of age, whatever. Just write that age today कि मेरा 45 साल में मुझे उसके बाद मैं पैसे के लिए काम नहीं करूंगा, मैंने 20 साल 25 साल काम कर लिया, and then I will be working for my own love and passion, whatever I love doing. So now once you write that age, some people write at 50 years I will do that, 45 I'll do that. Now after that, so that is very important to decide that, and that's a concept actually. When I was in Mumbai with HSBC, I have seen a lot of youngsters who are working. They have reached that stage of financial freedom at even 35, 40 years also. And how much money you need, that again depends on different. When we do these programs for corporates, where there are people at 30s or 40s in that age bracket, so for them, we actually calculate in a half-day program training which we do. We calculate that how much money will be required to you at the age of 50 or 60 to sustain you for next 20, 30 years, because the life expectancy today is around 80 or so. For men in India, it is 78 and 76 and 78 kind of. And it is going to increase only with the medical facilities going up. So point number 1, हमने लिखा क्या अपने डायरी में लिखा, we are writing that what is my age of financial freedom. Now once you have written that, what you have to do, you have to plan now. Now when you plan for that, in next 25 years, how much money I need and how will I get to that money. Now that plan, once you write, they will tell you about that, what plan you should do. But there is always a risk to that plan. As we all know, whether it is farming, agriculture, business, manufacturing, service sector, whatever we do, there's risk at every stage. Even the job. Today, jobs are not 100% guaranteed or secured, whether it's government or non-government. A lot of people say, I will only do job. Everything has a risk, and the biggest risk which we are currently facing, I think none of us could have imagined in our wildest dreams. So the biggest challenge in the financial management, if you learn that, is of risk management. Risk can never be eliminated. You can never remove the risk from your life, but it can be managed. For example, in agriculture, if I connect to your field of study also, there is a lot of market volatility. There are different produce, different kind of harvest, different grains, but there is a lot of uncertainty there. Now that is what the risk is. If you look at how the price volatility happens, prices move up and down in the commodities market. Now how are you making the right price discovery? Are you making use of? So there are a lot of factors involved, and which is where, if you are able to do that, and a lot of people I know in Rajasthan and of course in Gujarat also are making good use of the commodities derivatives, and they are making a lot of money in agriculture, which is not there in awareness is not there in this part of the world. So I'm sure you all must be also understanding, if you need certain specific sessions on that, we will do that, because we have our trainers who are particularly expertise in that area, and we can get some people from MCX or NCDX also. So that is something which we can plan later on. So the point I'm stressing here is that we all have to learn risk management. So write in your books and wherever you want to write, how will you manage the risk? And I will not tell you a very big complex word of risk management, because that's a separate course altogether, 1 year, 2 year course which you do. But here we will be only talking very basic, simple tips of risk management. And if you learn that, I think enough for today. you can just plan it, do it. And if you just practice those things, I'm sure you will be able to make your wealth grow faster. So that's very, very important. And some of you may be doing it also. So just to talk about little history here, whether you are worrying today or you are working or planning or you are panicking. So it's all about the choices which we are making. There has been history of such calamities. There will be a future of such calamities also. But some people who actually seize the opportunity, who are in the grip of that challenge which is being thrown by this whole situation today, some of you might take it both. Of course, I will handle this, but I will also make use of this opportunity, this crisis, to see what best can be done for the future. So these are, of course, every century we had been facing such kind of huge issues and problems and crises. If I look at the health calamities, I'm not repeating this, not using these words. You all can read it. Economic crises also have been always happening. So these are all global crises, but there are also national level and local level, society level problems, family level problems also. So why I'm telling you all this, all leads to either aggravating the risk or maybe at some amount of risk is always there. People have lost their jobs, their salaries are cut, their businesses are shut. So all that is part of the result of all these situations, and we have to be prepared and plan for it. Now, how to plan, what to do? So just few tips about it. Planning is extremely, extremely important, which most companies do actually. If you look at governments also do, even if they might not be able to meet the target, but planning is done at least. Even companies also, big companies do that always. But the problem is smaller companies, smaller farmers, marginal farmers, they completely go broke. Unko itna problem ho jata hai, they go below poverty line suddenly because they never planned. Now, I was in Narkanda actually last year, 2020, February in Shimla, close to, and we were going for a project there which we have submitted with NABARD. Narkanda is about 11,000 feet above sea level. Full of snow-clad, lot of apple orchards there. Apple is grown there. But what I learned from those farmers there, they have beautiful houses, and we were going for a homestay project there. That most of them earn a lot. They were sharing that, sir, हम लोग पैसा तो बहुत कमाते हैं. हम लोग का साल में 50-60 lakh रुपए का we have a receipt cash हमारे पास आता है. But it only comes in couple of months only, and that gets blown away like this, because they just splurge that money because they never plan. And that's what they were saying. We need some sustainable regular income because they don't know how to. Farmers don't know, and that's actually across the board. Everywhere farmers would have income which is twice a year or once a year, and if 1 year goes bad, their 3 years, go down the drain. So the important thing is that how you are able to plan your finances well, and that's very critical. That will help you navigate these turbulent times. Whatever it may be, this may be the biggest one, global problem. There could be local problem, monsoon rains, some other environmental issues. So we have to be very well planned. And that's where, if you are a farmer or you are agri-business or you are an industry, whatever, I think you will do a financial plan. You have to make that. You have to, generally people don't do it. We have been asking a lot of people, have you looked at your papers? All your papers are kept in a file, or you are just on in a drive or wherever. Generally, 90% people are scattered about there. While when I ask you, do you have a plan? A lot of you may say, yes, I have a plan. But is it really documented well? Is it all kept in a place where everybody who is concerned in your family can access it well? So that is a question. And then you have to review that plan depending upon the situation. Do reach out to the experts. Do review that plan, whether it is right given today's situation or need to change it. That's very important. And if there is a change required, rebalance it. Somebody who can see project the future a little bit, see the future, will rebalance asset allocation. Where should I go? Should I go into more of debt or more of equity? Which crop will do better in the coming time, or what will sell more, which commodity will do well. So all that is about asset allocation only. And of course, that is what leads to diversification, and these are the areas which help you minimize your risk and get your portfolio into a better health. That is important. How your portfolio is healthy. Now, what do I mean by healthy? I will just share a little later. A healthy portfolio will always be able to keep you ahead of the curve. Your money will grow faster, and that is what is required. Especially in agriculture sector, we need to make people more aware about these concepts, which can help them grow their wealth. Of course, there are changes happening. There are technological changes happening. So how are you able to adopt those things in terms of digital adoption, in terms of technological adoption? That is very, very important. So these are some of the areas for an individual or a farmer or anyone for that matter, by which you can navigate these turbulent time in much better way. I'm not saying you will not be disturbed. Disruption will happen, but you will be able to navigate well. And if you are in industry, of course, you have to see your business model. How are you? What is your cost of fund? How are you able to get returns on your investments which you are making in your crop or in business or equipments, machinery? So, generally people leave that area to their CFO or their accountant or finance person. But for entrepreneurs also, a lot of you would be wanting to be an entrepreneur. Actually, we had a lot of agri-sector startups who had come and attended our last conference. And a lot of them found it very useful when they were told about some of the very basic concepts which one should understand while setting up your own business or a startup. Because if you do not understand as a CEO or promoter of the business, the basics in financial matters, I think you are not going to sustain for a long time. So that's very, very important. And of course, as it applies for individual, the businesses have to be more focused on technology for future growth. So that's something which goes without saying. If I were to talk more about financial planning, क्यों नहीं करते हैं लोग? So there are a lot of misconceptions and myths about that. People say, okay, financial planning, so I have done because I have invested some money into stocks, some shares I have bought, some SIPs, mutual fund, insurance, this, that. I'm done with that. Or it is only for very rich people. Why I'm just a student? Why should I look into it? Or I have just started my job, or I don't have money to invest. How would I do financial planning? I'm too young. I don't want to plan for retirement right now. I don't have to pay taxes. So why should I do planning? So these are some thoughts which people say, but actually it is all, all are myths, because ultimately you have to do it sooner or later. Later you do it, you will be missing out on a lot of things. So the point is, which we'll be talking more about, sooner you do, earlier you do, better it is, and you are lucky. Whenever I talk to university students, I always tell them, when I talk to people who are retiring, actually I did programs for UP Police retirees who are going to retire in the next 6 months. Similarly, for Indian Oil also, I did program in Bombay. So in Mumbai, when I was talking to these Indian Oil people, who were all CGM and senior level people, ED level people, and they were going to retire for a one-day program, which Indian Oil does for them. And they were saying that all these things, actually, if I were told when I just started my job, I would have really, planned my finances much better. Because now I'm only dependent on my PF and all, but whatever I'm getting. And even if I try to change my habits, I will not be able to take that risk or plan it well. So what I'm saying is that you are lucky, you are getting this knowledge. So just try and start working on it. Now, some of the factors which affect your inflation, wealth accumulation, which I would you all know it. So there's nothing new about it. The point is that it's a point of reiteration that when you take out My Finance Diary and you pick up page number 3 and saying, okay, this is where I have to write, where is my money currently sitting? Whatever money it may be, maybe 1,000 rupees, maybe 50,000, 1 lakh, whatever. Where is it sitting now? What is it earning? Do we ever ask that question? Well, how much money am I getting in my savings account? How much in my mutual fund? How much? So that we have to write, and then we have to, just deduct the inflation rate. Now, inflation is what? Inflation is all of us curse inflation, that petrol is now gone 100 rupees, vegetables is also going up, onion, potato, this, that. We all keep cribbing about it. But the point is that what do we do? Do we do something about it? Or we just are here to crib about inflation or महंगाई? महंगाई जैसे बोलते हैं, simple महंगाई के लिए तो सब लोग बोलते रहते हैं, महंगाई तो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ रही है. But the point is that inflation or महंगाई is impacting your money. If you care about your money, that money should earn more than the rate of inflation, then you should be happy, not to bother. If you have made your money 20 times in the last 20 years, you should be happy. If inflation, if suppose cost of something has moved 20 times in the last 20 years, price of some stuff, some goods, so you should also have made 25 times of money, then you should be happy. What is the problem? No problem. But only thing, because I have not worked on my money, I have been sitting and just my money is idling away, then I will keep cribbing for inflation. Taxes are being deducted. Tax to pay karna hai. Tax, when you earn more, you will pay taxes. But if you can suddenly plan taxes well, you will delay your investment, starting late, you are not doing right kind of assets allocation. How much are you investing in property, gold, mutual fund, physical assets, financial assets, post office, PPF, this. So all those things have to come into place. Of course, that's all there in the diary. And you can see that there are model portfolios also. So are we disciplined? Are we actually giving every month 2 hours of time or every week 1 hour of time to my financial matters? Not only on earning more, but what we have got, can we just work on that? Or we just copied somebody's portfolio. कि भाई उसने किया था, मेरे को भी वही करने का है, वही कर देते हैं हम भी. That's how we do it. So it's not the way. So touching more about inflation, I think, because that is something which you have to today, the biggest takeaway, while most of us know about it, but we don't work about it. Suppose you have 1 lakh rupees lying in savings account for last 1 year and you are earning 3% on that. How much you make? 3,000 rupees in a year, and you feel very happy, my money has grown by 3,000. But if you see last 1 year, last 10-year average inflation has been around 7%. So you have to reduce that 7% from whatever you got. So 1 lakh 3,000 minus 7,000 comes to 96,000. Now you know whether your money has grown or reduced sitting in the savings account. But sometimes we are like, what is the problem? Yeah, I have only 3,000 in my savings, 10,000. Point is not that you need to have some money in savings, but point is that whenever you keep larger money in savings, money is getting reduced. So you have to first write that. What is my real rate of return post-inflation? I'm not taking taxes here. Once you write that, then you will say, oh my God, I should not keep my lot of money here. And that's why government gives you all these products with the Sukanya Samriddhi, PPF, GPF, or RBI bond. What interest you get? Mostly you get 7% or so. So that 7% you get, 7 is inflation. You are at least, your capital is safe now. So that is where we have to now, if you look at more on inflation, what was the cost of these things in last, if you just guess how much was the cost for these things? In 95, 96, actually it was, if I show you this, petrol 9 rupees, cylinder 57 rupees, a vegetarian food thali 15 rupees, college 1 year fee, a good private college 10,000 rupees. Now, if I move fast forward to today, while today petrol is 100 rupees, I may not have that figure here. But if you look at that, this is how the prices have moved almost, 10, 20, 30 times, sometimes even more. Now, if you have also, if your father or your grandfather, somebody had put money into that kind of an asset which has grown by 30, 40 times, you should be happy. You can certainly do more. But if it is not, then you have to think about it. How I can do that. Some of the things now, so these are the all things which will reduce risk of loss of capital. If you are keeping your money in savings or somewhere where you are only getting less than inflation, that's a risk which you are taking knowingly. So these are some of the areas you can. Now, where to invest? Now, before I move there, just one more checklist here, which is a very, very short checklist. Actually, it is a very big checklist for the corporates and other places where we do our training programs. about 30-40 points, but here I have taken just about 8 points here. So do you have budget? You make a budget even if you have 5,000 rupees every month coming as a pocket money or stipend or whatever. Number 2, have you got yourself covered for health insurance? Today, we all know that people have been spending 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs for one COVID, patient. So that is the first step in financial planning, having adequate health cover. A lot of people say, no, I had 2 days back, I had someone whose father was admitted and he got discharged. Luckily, he was safe. But father had got about the bill was 8.5 lakhs. And the person whose son had this cover from his company, only 6 lakh rupees cover. So he has to pay 2.5 lakhs from his pocket. But that is not, there are people who have paid 22 lakhs, all from their own pocket. So the one important thing is, if you don't have, write in your diary, no, if I don't have today, I will plan for it. Secondly, if I have dependents or my father has dependents, I should have a life cover, which is at low premium, high cover. At least 10 times of your annual income, you should have a life cover also. And that's a term plan. Generally, people now are more, savvy and they do consider it. Third point is emergency fund. You should have about 6 to 9 months of your income into the emergency fund, which you can anytime dip in case of any problem. So suppose you have a job and suppose 6 months later your job is not there, you can at least always take money from there. Always save first, then spend. That is important. Link all your investments. When you are writing in your financial diary, my finance diary, this money I am putting for 10 years, this for 20 years. So what you will need to do with that money in 5 years, 10 years. You want to do some higher studies abroad, you want to set up your own business in 10 years, or your marriage, or your house, or your car, or your foreign travel. So whatever is your objective, write it there, write the period to that goal, and then investment to that goal. And that is how the financial planning takes place. And of course, last is the retirement or financial freedom, whatever you may call. How much money you need for that, that's how you have to do it. Talking about finances in family is extremely important. Most people don't do it. Most families don't do it. That has been a survey done. And the reason majority of people don't talk about finance in family, families don't learn about it. And God forbid anything happens, the money which is scattered in different bank accounts, post office, insurance, other places, whether it is having nominee or joint account, doesn't matter. It still remains there as unclaimed money. So the banks and financial institutions have about 35,000 crore. 35,000 crore lying, which is unclaimed money. Jisko pata hi nahi kiska money hai. Because bank or insurance company will not search for who is this nominee, who is this joint holder. Somebody has to come to them to claim it. But if nobody comes, the money just keeps lying there. Now it is being transferred to the government for the trust also on awareness and all that. So point is that talking to family is a very simple thing, but should be done. Now, all of us have read about this eighth wonder of the world, which is compound interest. I think we all should take advantage of this. If I were to talk about only one product, which is many of you would be actually doing it also, which is systematic investment plan. Even if you save 1,000 rupees per year, per month actually, 12,000 in a year, and 1,20,000 in 10 years, and 3,60,000 in 30 years. You see how it becomes. 3,60,000 becomes 69 lakh rupees in 30 years if we assume the return of 15%. But if you look at Google top 5 SIPs for last 10-year return, this has been around 20%. So if I take 20%, your 1,000 saved per month becomes about 1 crore rupees in 30 years. Now, small savings done regularly, taking advantage of compound interest and averaging makes you rich. So we should not miss it. That's something very important. If we delay it, a lot of people say, okay, I will do it after 1 year, 2 years, once I have more money. Now, cost of delay is very high. Just see here. एक किसी ने 25 साल में start किया. 25 years of age, somebody starts. Another friend starts at 30 years of age. Look at this. 25 years person at the age of 60 gets 65 lakh rupees. But another person who has started at the age of 30, same amount, 1,000 rupees per month, he gets only 35 lakh rupees. Here we are assuming 12% interest per annum and 1,000 rupees to be invested per month. Another person starts at 35, he gets 19 lakhs only. Another starts at 40 years of age, only gets 10 lakhs. So look at the maturity at the age of 60, it is reducing drastically, while the principal which they are contributing is not changing much. 4.2, 3.6, 3 lakhs, 2.4 lakhs. So why I'm saying and focusing on this, forcing on this is that please start these things early. Financial planning is early to start. This is one of the example of one product. We cannot cover all the aspects of equity investing or stock investing here. We have separate sessions for your trading, fundamental analysis, technical analysis. Those are only focused on that. Somebody, or of course commodities trading. So we will be doing that sometimes later when we find some interest in some of you. We will do that. But where to invest, for what purpose, again depends upon what you want. You want your capital to grow faster, go into stocks and equities and FNOs and derivatives and all. And income fund is again for a medium to low risk, but also for up to 3 years. Bond debentures and all these mutual funds. And when you have to do a very low to medium risk and shorter period, then go for money market funds. So investment avenues, you all know that there are two ways. One is fixed guaranteed, which everybody wants to be there. Traditionally, our traditional way was that only going to post office, FD, RD, PPF, EPF, all that. But when we are into non-guaranteed, the universe is very big. You have to learn about these. I have not written a lot of other things which we might be interested in, which is like commodities or alternate investment funds or whatever. But the whole host of things are there which make you rich, but provided you know the risk management. That's important. Again and again repeating, that's important. One very important thing, when you are investing through mutual fund, or for that matter, anywhere you invest, ensure that you are not investing in something which is not regulated by anyone. So regulator should be there. Today, a lot of people ask questions about cryptocurrency and all. You know that volatility which is happening, it is going down, this, that, Bitcoins are. So the point here is that what we recommend is that we should only go for any investment which has a regulator. Like banks have RBI, mutual funds, companies, stock markets have SEBI, insurance has IRDA, and pension has PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority. So these are the four main, even commodity markets are under SEBI. So these are the four main regulators in India. So you should only invest there so that you are at much peace. Rather than any fraud, anything happens, you don't have to run to file an FIR with the police department. You just have to go to the regulator in case you are not served well. So that's important. Mutual fund, and again, where you invest, type of funds, depending upon your goal and objective, you can go into those kind of funds, equity funds or index funds, etc. So these things I'm sure many of you would be knowing, because I can't interact much here in this platform. So I would be wanting you to write back to me, or when Dr. Nitin is moderating or questions are there, I will be happy to take that. But again, this all depends on guild funds. So this is an area of, specific knowledge where you need to gain that knowledge to actually fill that gap when we have 5, 10, 15, 20 years of goals, where to put my money which can let me reach that goal faster. That's the objective. For taxation, I'm just speaking. Taxation is again something which, if you want to plan taxes, capital market is another very, very, I think, important route to.
Can you go back the very soon?
Is that one?
No. Next. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because why? I generally when I do it for faculty or anyone, I spend more time on the tax savings and all. But of course, if there are some people, because generally for when there are students, they generally would not appreciate much about income tax or yeah. But what I here also, if you look at comparison between bank fixed deposit and debt mutual fund, I have not taken in the previous slide. If you see, this talks about the returns and lock-in period, and this only talks about 80C. Actually, 80C is the most commonly known. People, everybody invests 1.5 lakhs for tax saving, then 50,000 also for NPS. So 2 lakh rupees gets deducted from your salary, and that is how you save taxes. And ELSS, equity linked saving scheme, has the lowest lock-in period, which is only 3 years. And other tax advantages today, when FD rates are going down, you all know that it is only 5.5 to 6%, and that has been happening all over the last 30 years. If you see, every 10 years, interest rates have been going down for almost 3% to 4%. So in that scenario, it is important that we actually move into tax efficient debt mutual fund. Debt mutual fund, even if you are getting similar returns, because of the tax advantage, which is the capital gain tax there, you will be gaining on the taxation part. So just a little more of focus about, of course, SIPs being tax efficient, liquidity is there, fund manager, professional management, transparency, a lot of benefits of that. So why we have not actually talked about many more. If you look at this Economic Times coverage of SIP, even better than PPF returns, in the 15-year period, the worst performing SIP has given 13.71% period, returns. So the point is that we have to allocate our investments into various buckets. In those buckets, once we write down in our portfolio sheets that, okay, this is what is my overall portfolio return, if it is reaching 10-12%, that is what we target, then you have safely beaten inflation, and your real return is about 6% or so, or without taking a lot of undue risk. Similarly, when you take a home loan, or how you make your home free, is that when you are, of course, interest rates have come down now. It is now 7% or so home loan rate. So it makes a lot of sense to take home loan, because when you are investing money into mutual funds, SIPs, and stocks, you get over a longer period. I was yesterday only seeing one of the tax saver plan where in 96 somebody would have invested 1 lakh rupees in that fund. Value as on 30th April of that fund is about 1.78 crore rupees. 1 lakh invested in 1996. So 25 years, that money was kept there, and it has become 1.78 crores. So can you imagine? 17,000 times. So the point I am making here is that while you should take advantage of capital markets to make your wealth grow, depending upon what is your requirement, why you want to, what period you want to, what goal you want to invest, you have to go according to that solution only. And of course, move from traditional to the smart solutions. That's very important. I would ask you, of course, all of you, in case starting early, doing regularly. Discipline is very important, as in anything else. I think financial matters. If you are disciplined, you can make money from the markets very well, because markets do not behave in a manner which you would want. But if you have some understanding and you are disciplined, you will make money from the markets. Now, Evoke India, how we can help you? Of course, we can really provide you a lot of insights into your tax-related queries. We have a team of tax experts, chartered accountants, and company secretaries who are, conducting sessions. We have people from financial markets. So we do, anytime you have any, while we do conduct web seminars and other things, but if you have specific queries, you can reach out to us directly on our mail ID and also on our website. While anything of common issue you want to raise here, I will be happy to answer. We also conduct a lot of training programs which are related to job, career opportunities. So while career opportunities for agricultural sector, like commodities especially, so we have a curriculum for commodities also. So we will, in case somebody is interested, we'll get you that also. How you can, take help of commodity derivative market, which helps in efficient and transparent price discovery. And actually, it is an excellent tool for price rise management, price risk management. So, and that is actually done through efficient hedging, which helps you, protects you against adverse prices and also against market volatility. So it is very important that this kind of a knowledge is shared with all the people who are associated in the agriculture sector, because their risk management is very, very important. These are some of the other capital market sessions which we do at the behest of SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, because we are an investor association recognized by SEBI. These are our coordinates. Phone number of mine is also there, and my colleagues' phone number. So you can reach out to us. That's all from me. Any questions? I'll be happy to take questions from all of you. Thank you very much for all the participants. I'm stopping to share my screen now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insights regarding the financial literacy, as well as the risk management and how the investor should be aware of putting the money in a right direction or in a right channel, so that they could get much returns in the near future or in the long run of the financial planning. So I request our Honorable Dean and Principal, sir, to share his views or some interaction with the Dwivedi, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Nathan. Actually, whenever I I think about the finance, being a student of the science, we are not perfect with that. And no doubt, being a student of the agriculture sciences, we study the economics, we study the farm management, but still I have gone through with some kind of turbulence whenever we discuss with the students regarding the finances, and their questions comes which are valid. So here, Dwivedi sir, I think I want to put some queries from my students. First question is, how much mutual funds are safe? And second is, whenever the agriculture comes, the commodity market comes into the picture. Whether the newcomer who is going to enter into the business of the agriculture commodity, which kind of the precautions he or she should take?
Right. So thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. I think you rightly said that being a science person, it is always, not only actually science. I have seen that any sector, finance is generally, ignored beyond the purpose of acquisition of finance. Once you have money, the management part of that, even the best of economists I have seen have not been able to put the money into the right places. So that is an area which is something. So coming to your question specifically about mutual funds, the safety of mutual fund is, again, as I said, in terms of degree, it will certainly be higher than a fixed deposit, and that is why you take that risk and you get the higher return. Once you understand that risk, as I have been repeatedly saying, that the risk, when suppose you go from savings account to a liquid fund, which is a mutual fund, or to an overnight fund, or to a arbitrage fund, so your rate of interest from 3%, 4%, 5%, then debt funds, it keeps on moving up. But all these mutual funds have different investment objectives, and they have a different risk category. So and that is the purpose of these sessions, that somewhere our listeners are encouraged to understand and make benefit of these things. Globally, if you see average, there is a penetration of about 60% of people do invest in capital markets in Western countries. But in India, it is still very low. Still, it is hardly 5% people, take advantage of capital market. So what happens is that our people are making a lot of efforts, a lot of hard work, but who is eating the cake? Somebody in the foreign country is eating the cake, because he is investing equity into us. FIIs, FPIs are investing, but our people are not investing. While I would say Gujarat and and Maharashtra, other western states are still better off, but North India is completely, away from risk taking, because we are not taught to take risk from our early childhood. We are not taught. We are said, no, stay safe, stay home, do a job, and preferably a government job. So that is how we have been brought up. So the mutual fund is, of course, relatively speaking, safer than your stocks or derivatives and all, but little more riskier than FD and all. Now,
it is safer than stocks.
Yes, naturally safer than stocks. If you invest directly into stocks, then your understanding level has to be much, much better, about the sector. Because in mutual fund, there are, fund manager who is taking care of that, professional management of fund. And diversification is there. Even with 1,000 rupees, you can buy TCS, you can buy Tata Motors, you can buy Maruti, because it is in fraction, while one share cost can be of 1,000 rupees. So mutual fund that way gives you a lot of that kind of cushion and protection from that huge risk when you reach to one particular company stock. So that is very important. Now coming to the second question of commodities, somebody who wants to understand commodity markets, the kind of precaution he should take is, of course, you have to get that knowledge about that particular commodity. Also, how the system works, international markets, how they work, how the overall geopolitical situation, how the it is not only about the particular crop or particular utilization of that crop in industry, it's medicinal plant or it's a agri commodity or consumer commodity. So point here is that, like, guar is a very precious commodity which is traded very well, guar gum, and then there are a lot of other commodities also. You go through the different channels and you find out. So what we would recommend, that everybody who's getting into agri business should take advantage of this efficient price discovery mechanism, so that you get the best price for your produce, and you also hedge the risk. There are a lot of risk in the agriculture sector when we are getting into that. So how you hedge your risk and how you get prices as competitive as international prices. So that is something which has to be careful about.
Whenever I discuss with my students, and I receive some kind of queries from them, and out of these queries, one is usually they are more inclined to start their venture, or further they want to upscale that, like as a kind of company. When they should enter to register under BSc or NSC.
Right. So, when they want to start their own company, a startup now only, BSc has started listing of startups also. There are exchanges for MSME. So if you're talking about listing part, so listing is not something which happens immediately. Registration is only with the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, when you want to incorporate your company.
BSc is listing is
Yes, BSc is listing startups also. Yes, that's very. They are the only exchange now that has given platform to startups also.
Earlier that was not possible, I think.
Yes. Earlier that was not possible. So it is only about a year back. Now startups have also getting into. I was in a conference last year in Mumbai, and there were a lot of agri and edutech startups which are now getting listed there. So that is actually very good way of raising capital for startups. That's wonderful way. So that one can do. And of course, once you become a small industry and medium, then of course you can get into exchange platform, which is for small and medium industries also. So in terms of capital, there is no problem, but only thing is that how you manage that capital well, that understanding is very important. But we can't delegate that to any finance person. Okay, you manage, I will manage my business. That is not possible. You are in for a trouble then.
Very true. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, I am very much thankful to Mr. Dwivedi sir, and as all of us know that Mr. Dwivedi sir's views are on financial matters are regularly aired on All India Radio, and the venture he established, that is Avok India Group, has really put great efforts for bringing the financial literacy as well as training and educating the masses whether in the metropolitans as well as in the rural areas also. So I'm really very much thankful on behalf of Parul University, Faculty of Agriculture, College of Agriculture, and PU webinar team. I'm very much thankful to all the direct and indirectly involved members who made this webinar happen, and a lot of people on the Facebook platform as well as Google Meet have benefited these things, and really insightful talk it was. On behalf of and with the prior permission of Honorable Dean Sir, I really conclude the session here, and thank you very much once again. Hope so we will connect in the near future once the pandemic is over. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.